Close your eyes for a moment and breathe deeply. Let the outside world fall away, because right now you're entering the world that truly creates your inner world. You've been told to work harder, to strive, to hustle, but the truth is more effortless and far more divine. What you desire is already yours. It already exists. The only thing you need to do is feel it. Real, not someday, not later, but now. This is not wishful thinking. This is law. Your imagination is not fantasy. It is creative power. Every time you close your eyes and feel something real within, you are planting the seed of a future reality. And like any seed, it must grow when it is nourished by feeling and persistence. You don't have to beg life for your desires. You are not here to chase. You are here to receive. You are the operant power, the selector of states, the chooser of assumptions. When you assume that you are already the one who has, the one who is, the one who lives in that fulfilled reality, you begin to rearrange the world around you. And how do you assume it? You relax, you close your eyes, you feel, you live it inside. Don't worry if the world doesn't change instantly. The delay is not denial. It's just a reflection catching up to your new inner truth. Be still, be calm, be convinced. You don't manifest by force. You manifest by faith. You don't bring it about by effort. You bring it by inner knowing. Feel the joy now. Feel the gratitude now. Feel the fulfillment now. When you do that, you create an emotional blueprint, and the world must build it, it must mirror it, it cannot resist. So stop checking, stop doubting, stop waiting. Go within, feel it real, and then relax, because it's already done. It's already yours. Let go and watch it unfold. Imagination is not just a daydream or mental escape. It is the origin of everything you see, touch, and experience. Every building once existed in someone's mind before it rose from the ground. Every invention, every story, every piece of art was first imagined. But this truth goes deeper than creativity or innovation. Imagination is the very blueprint of reality. It is where creation begins and where your desires already live in completion. What you hold in your imagination, when accepted as real, begins to shape the unseen forces around you. Your inner world is not passive, it is active, alive, and powerful. The moment you vividly imagine something and feel it as true, you impress it upon the deeper layers of consciousness, and that impression, like a mold, must be filled by external circumstances. Most people live in reaction to what they see, unaware that they're simply witnessing the after effects of what they've previously imagined. But when you reverse the process, when you imagine first and feel its reality before the senses confirm it, you step into the role of the creator rather than the reactor. You stop waiting for change and begin causing it from within. To imagine is to select. You are not fabricating something out of thin air. You are aligning yourself with a version of reality that already exists. Your imagination is a map, and every scene you vividly construct is a destination waiting for your arrival. If you can dwell in that inner scene with conviction, the world around you will begin to adjust and conform. Imagination bypasses limitation. It does not ask for permission. It doesn't care what your current circumstances say. It simply shows you what is possible and then invites you to feel it as real. In doing so, you collapse the distance between what is desired and what is lived. Thought alone does not manifest. Feeling does. You can think about your desire all day long, but if you do not feel it as real, it remains a concept rather than a creation. Feeling is the emotional acceptance that what you desire is already yours. It is the energy that gives life to the image within. When you combine imagination with genuine feeling, you unlock the door to manifestation. There is a world of difference between hoping for something and assuming it with feeling. Hope leaves you waiting, while feeling it real brings you into the experience now. The mind may picture the scene, but it is the heart that breathes life into it. When you feel the joy, the satisfaction, the certainty of having your desire, you impress that state onto the subconscious, and once impressed, it begins to outpicture itself through the events, people, and situations of your life. Feeling is the language of the subconscious. It does not respond to empty repetition or surface-level words. It responds to the emotional atmosphere you carry within. If you feel anxious, it assumes something unwanted. If you feel peace, confidence, and fulfillment, it accepts that the desire is already fulfilled and moves accordingly. You must feel the end as though it is happening now, not later, not someday, but now. The smile, the relief, the knowing, all of it must be experienced within. This is not about faking it or pretending. It is about tuning into the version of you where the desire is natural and already part of your reality. That version already exists, and feeling connects you to it instantly. When you shift your inner state, you shift the world around you, not because the world changes randomly, but because it reflects the state you persist in. Feeling is how you enter the state. It is the gate, the key, the bridge. You do not wait for something to happen in order to feel. You feel and then it happens. You don't need to run after what is already yours. The very moment a desire is born within you, it comes with the means for its fulfillment. The fact that you can long for it, dream of it, feel it in your heart, this is evidence that it already exists in a dimension unseen, waiting to be claimed. You are not meant to beg, plead, or struggle to receive it. Desire is not lack. It is awareness of what is already prepared for you. Chasing implies separation. It says, I don't have it and I must earn it. But true manifestation begins when you shift from chasing to choosing. You step into the version of yourself who already possesses it, not because you saw it in the outer world, but because you felt it in your inner world. That feeling becomes your claim, your assumption, your reality. You stop moving toward it and start moving from it. You stop moving from it. When you chase, you reinforce the idea that what you want is distant, outside of you, withheld. You give power to the absence instead of the presence. But when you assume it's already yours, when you carry the inner conviction that it's done, you begin to radiate that truth. The world, in response, bends to match that inner certainty. The people, opportunities, and moments align, not because you fought for them, but because you aligned with them inwardly. Letting go of the chase doesn't mean you stop desiring or acting. It means you no longer act from desperation. You no longer identify as the one who lacks, but as the one who receives. You walk, speak, think, and feel from the place of already having. In this shift, the delay ends. The resistance dissolves. Life begins to unfold in your favor, not because you forced it, but because you stopped resisting it. Your assumption is the claim, your feeling is the evidence, and your state is the magnet. When you finally relax into the knowing that it's already yours, the need to chase falls away. The race ends, and reality begins to catch up to your new identity. To assume the state means to mentally and emotionally occupy the version of you who already has what you desire. It is not merely thinking about it, it is becoming it in consciousness. When you assume a state, you step into that version of reality inwardly, and from that place you no longer beg, wish, or try to make things happen. You are no longer striving for it, you are living from it. The struggle begins when you identify with lack, when you constantly notice what is missing, when you react to circumstances that contradict your desire. You lock yourself into the very state you wish to escape. But the moment you let go of needing it to happen and simply assume that it already has, you move into the state of fulfillment. This is not denial of the outer world. It is a decision to no longer let it dictate your inner world. Struggle is effort. It says, I must change the world before I can feel peace. But assumption says, I choose peace now because I know the world will reflect it. The outer world is only a shadow of your dominant inner state. You don't fight shadows. You change the light within. And when you change your state, the shadow must follow. To assume the state is to trust your own authority. You pick the role, you feel its reality, and you wear it like a new skin. Even if nothing around you supports it yet, you persist in that feeling. You refuse to return to the old self. And as you hold that state, through imagination, through feeling, through faith, the bridge of events begins to form. Letting go of the struggle doesn't mean doing nothing. It means no longer doing from a place of fear or urgency. It means moving, thinking, and speaking from the consciousness of already being. When you drop the struggle, you drop resistance. And in that stillness, what you desire finds its way to you, because it was always trying to. Your world is not separate from you. It is a mirror, faithfully reflecting the atmosphere you maintain within. Every person you meet, every event you experience, and every pattern that unfolds is a projection of your inner state. The world does not act independently of your consciousness. It responds, reacts, and organizes itself based on the emotional tone and assumptions you carry inside. If your inner atmosphere is filled with doubt, fear, and lack, the world will echo back experiences that confirm those feelings. You may think the world is being unfair or random, but it is only showing you what you've consistently accepted as true within. Change your inner climate and the outer conditions must shift to reflect it. This is not philosophical, it is law. The outer is shaped by the inner, and the unseen always precedes the seen. It is not enough to visualize a better life while emotionally remaining in frustration or disbelief. The feeling must match the picture. You must become the version of you who already lives in that better reality, not just in thought, but in vibration, in tone, in energy. The way you wake up, the way you walk, the way you respond to life, all of it reveals your state, and that state becomes the template from which the world molds itself. You are not a passive observer, you are the projector. The world plays back the film you run inside your mind, frame by frame. To change the movie, you change the reel. You shift the story, the expectation, the assumption. And as you do, the characters in your life begin to play different roles. The circumstances begin to soften, and what once seemed immovable becomes fluid. Most people wait for the world to give them a reason to feel good, to feel safe, to feel fulfilled. But this is backwards. The moment you take control of your inner atmosphere, intentionally cultivating peace, joy, gratitude, confidence, you begin to influence the world rather than be influenced by it. You begin to experience alignment instead of opposition. Not because the world suddenly decided to favor you, but because you finally decided to favor yourself inwardly. Effort, when born from desperation, often creates more resistance than results. The harder you try to force something into being, the more you reinforce that it isn't already yours. That strain, that inner tension, signals to the subconscious that the desire is still far away. And the subconscious, being deeply obedient, takes that signal and reproduces circumstances that mirror that distance. Effort, in this sense, blocks the very flow of manifestation by affirming separation. Surrender, however, is not weakness. It is power in its purest form. It is the silent confidence that what you desire is already unfolding in divine timing. When you surrender, you no longer attempt to manipulate every detail or obsess over the how and when. You let go of the need to control the process. Instead, you trust the unseen currents to carry your desire to shore. This is not giving up, it's giving over. Giving over your assumptions to the inner truth that the end is already fulfilled. True surrender arises from the feeling of completion. You feel so convinced within that you don't need to see immediate outer proof. You no longer seek confirmation because you already have inner conviction. And in the space of calm expectancy, life begins to move quietly and precisely, bringing people, events, and timing together without your interference. Effort tenses the mind. Surrender softens it. Effort says, I must do more to get there. Surrender says, I'm already there and the world is catching up. In surrender, you act not to make it happen, but because it feels natural to do so. You are no longer driven by fear or urgency. You are moved by inspiration, flow, and intuitive alignment. There is a profound ease that comes when you stop trying to carry the entire manifestation process on your shoulders. You realize you were never supposed to do it all. Your only responsibility is the inner state. The rest The orchestration, the timing, the unfolding is taken care of. When you get out of the way, time, as most understand it, is a sequence of moments, past, present, future, lined up like beads on a string. But in truth, time is not linear. It is not a wall you must climb over to reach your desires. It is an illusion of the senses, a framework that gives structure to the unfolding of experiences. What you perceive as the future already exists. Every possibility, every version of you, every outcome is already formed, waiting for your consciousness to align with it. You do not manifest by moving through time, you manifest by moving through states. When you shift your state of being, your inner assumptions, your emotional atmosphere, you collapse what feels like distance in time. You are not waiting for your desire to be created, you are selecting it now through your state of awareness. Time is only a delay when you believe in the delay. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you step out of the timeline of waiting and into the experience of having. You access a dimension where your desire is already real, and though your outer world may appear unchanged for a time, the reality has already shifted within. It must unfold outwardly because the seed has been planted in the now. When people say it's taking too long, they are measuring progress by physical evidence, not by inner certainty. But manifestation doesn't obey clocks. It obeys consciousness. If you remain loyal to the new state, the illusion of time begins to dissolve. Things that seemed far away move quickly into view. Synchronicities multiply. Doors open seemingly out of nowhere. Time can only delay when you keep checking the clock. When you keep measuring, doubting, and wondering if it's coming, you push it further. But when you feel it as done, when you live from the inner conviction that it's already yours, time bends. Reality accelerates. What would have taken years may happen in weeks, days, or moments because you removed the barrier of belief. Faith is not blind belief or forced optimism. It is the deep, unwavering confidence that what you have imagined and felt is already yours, regardless of what your physical senses say. It is not something you try to have, it is something you become. True faith is not separate from feeling, it is feeling backed by certainty. When you combine the emotion of already having with the conviction that it must come to pass, you move mountains without effort. Faith does not argue with appearances, it does not need proof. It is the inner assurance that your world will conform to the assumption you hold as true. When you walk in faith, you no longer waver between maybe and what if, you stand firmly in the inner knowing that your desire has already been fulfilled. You feel the outcome so clearly that no evidence to the contrary can shake you. That feeling is not hope, it is creation. You may not see it yet with your eyes, but you live from it in your heart. And this internal shift changes everything. The world begins to arrange itself around your inner stance. Circumstances adjust, people show up, opportunities flow, not because you chased them, but because you believed from within. Faith is not passive. It is alive, vibrant, and creative. It colors your thoughts, it reshapes your choices, and it lifts your emotional state. When you feel with confidence, you begin to act, speak, and carry yourself like one who already has it. This change in identity is what attracts the reality you desire. You are no longer seeking the result, you are the embodiment of it. And in this place, the process no longer feels like waiting. There is no anxiety, no pressure. There is only quiet power. You know that what you desire is on its way, not because you hope it will be, but because in your inner world it already is. That is faith, and that is the force that transforms everything. Persistence is often misunderstood as constantly doing, pushing, or forcing something to happen in the external world. But true persistence is not measured by action, it is measured by state. It is not how much you do, but how consistently you remain in the inner feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is the quiet, steady loyalty to the version of you who already has what you desire, regardless of outer appearances. This kind of persistence doesn't exhaust you, it centers you. It means returning again and again to the feeling of having, to the assumption that it is already done. It means refusing to be shaken by the delay, refusing to fall for the illusion that nothing is happening. Persistence is when you no longer look outside for confirmation, because you are too anchored in your inner truth to be swayed by temporary conditions. Outer force, on the other hand, is born from doubt. It comes from the belief that you must make it happen with effort and intensity. But effort alone, without alignment, leads to struggle. You may do 100 things outwardly, but if you have not shifted your state inwardly, those actions carry little power. True creation flows not from force, but from being. And being is sustained through inner consistency. When you persist in the state, you are telling your subconscious mind, this is who I am now. That repetition, that inner stillness, that emotional steadiness begins to take root. The more consistently you dwell in that state, the more natural it becomes, and the more rapidly your outer world begins to reflect it. Persistence trains your reality to obey your new identity. You do not need to keep changing your technique or questioning your process. You simply need to persist, to hold your inner course, to choose again and again the end you desire, and to live from that place, no matter what the senses report. That is real strength. Not effort, not willpower, but unwavering inner alignment. Before anything becomes visible in your outer world, it is first formed in the unseen realm of imagination, emotion, and assumption. The unseen is not empty. It is the origin. It is where every manifestation begins, where every shift is set in motion. What you do not yet see with your eyes already exists in the invisible dimension, shaped by the thoughts you dwell upon, the feelings you cultivate, and the states you assume as true. The mistake most people make is judging life solely by what is currently visible. They react to facts, to delays, to problems without realizing those are just reflections of past inner states. But when you truly understand that the unseen precedes the seen, you stop living in reaction. You start living in creation. You begin to value the invisible, the quiet inner work, the feelings and images that arise when the world is silent. That is where the future is written. You cannot wait to feel successful until success appears. You cannot wait to feel loved until someone loves you. You must first become it within. You must experience the fulfillment of your desire in the unseen, in imagination and feeling, and allow the outer world to catch up. This is not pretense. It is selection. You are choosing the version of reality you wish to live in, and by embodying it internally, you command it to take shape externally. There is a sacred delay between what you assume and what becomes visible, not because the process is slow, but because reality is adjusting itself around your new state. That gap is not punishment, it is proof that something deeper is working. And during that space between inner assumption and outer confirmation, your task is simple. Remain faithful to the unseen. Stay loyal to the invisible evidence. Release, trust the inner knowing more than the outer noise. Everything you desire, everything you imagine, is already alive in the unseen. It is waiting, not for time, not for luck, but for you to match it in frequency. Once you do, it has no choice but to become form. Because nothing shows up in your life that was not first formed in the realm where only you can see, feel, and believe it. Desire does not arise from emptiness. It arises from a deeper part of you that already knows what is possible. The moment you feel a genuine desire, it is not a random wish or fantasy. It is life revealing to you what is already available in potential. Your desire is not separate from its fulfillment. In fact, the presence of the desire is the evidence that on some level, the thing you want is already complete. You would not be able to long for it, imagine it, or emotionally connect with it unless it existed in another dimension, ready to be received. Many people treat desire as a sign of lack, as something missing from their life, but desire is not the absence of something, it is the awareness of its presence in the unseen. It is your inner being reaching forward, tuning into a reality that is trying to be born through you. It is not asking you to go out and find it, it is asking you to align with it, to feel it, to claim it. The moment you accept that your desire is divine evidence, not deficiency, everything changes. You no longer question whether you are worthy of it, whether you can have it, or whether it's even possible. You understand that the desire itself is a message. It's the invitation to embody the version of you who already lives in its fulfillment. That's why desire feels so personal, so powerful, because it is pointing you back to your true self, your higher state, your completed vision. Your job is not to force the desire into being. Your job is to trust it, to honor it, to feel it as real, and respond as if it's already done. The presence of the desire is all the proof you need that the thing you want is not only possible, it's already yours in a higher reality, waiting for you to step into it through belief, assumption, and feeling. To live from the end means to think, feel, and act as though your desire is already fulfilled. It is the conscious choice to mentally occupy the state of the wish fulfilled. Not someday, not in the future, but now. You're no longer moving toward your goal, hoping and striving to reach it. Instead, you are already at the destination within. You have assumed the role, worn the identity, and embraced the feeling of being the one who already has it. When you live from the end, your thoughts naturally align with the version of you who doesn't question, who doesn't doubt, who no longer seeks. You begin to speak differently, walk differently, and respond to life from a place of completion, not pursuit. This shift in consciousness has a magnetic effect. The world around you starts to mirror that new identity, not because you pushed for it, but because you embodied it. This is not about pretending or acting, it's about being. It's about dwelling in the inner experience of the outcome, even when the outer world looks unchanged. You hold the vision, feel the emotion, and claim the identity of the fulfilled version of yourself. Your inner dialogue changes from "I hope it happens" to "This is who I am now." That quiet conviction is what bends reality. Living from the end removes the need to constantly affirm, chase, or wait. You no longer look for signs or reassurance because you've moved into the state where the desire is natural, expected, and familiar. You are no longer waiting for the future to bring something to you. You've brought the future into the present through assumption. And once you dwell there inwardly, the outer world has no choice but to shift accordingly. Unconditional. What you accept as true, whether consciously or unconsciously, begins to shape your reality. Your life is not governed by random chance or external forces. It is governed by your assumptions. When you emotionally and mentally accept something as truth, your subconscious takes that impression and begins to rearrange your outer world to reflect it. It does not matter whether the assumption is based in fact. What matters is that you believe it to be real. The belief becomes the seed, and your world becomes the soil that brings it to life. This is why two people can live in the same conditions and have completely different experiences. One assumes life is full of opportunity, the other assumes life is full of struggle. And each will find evidence to support what they've already accepted internally. It is not life choosing for them. It is their assumptions directing life. Acceptance doesn't mean you simply repeat words or visualize images. It means you allow an idea to settle into your emotional core without resistance. It becomes a quiet knowing. You no longer argue with it, no longer question it. You feel it as true. That inner acceptance becomes the new program running beneath the surface, quietly influencing your behaviors, your interactions, and the events that unfold around you. If you accept that you're lucky, life will mirror that luck. If you accept that success is natural to you, doors will open without effort. If you accept that love is hard or money is scarce, your reality will faithfully confirm those beliefs, not because it must, but because you have instructed it to. You are always assuming something. The key is to become aware of what you've been accepting as true, and once you do, you can choose differently. You can deliberately accept the reality you wish to experience. And the moment you do so, not tomorrow, not after you see proof, but in that moment of acceptance, the shift begins. The facts of your current reality are nothing more than the echo of your past assumptions. They are not final, they are not fixed, they are simply reflections of former states you once inhabited, states you might not even remember choosing. And because they are effects, not causes, you are under no obligation to continue believing in them. You are not bound by what your senses report. What is seen is temporary, but what is felt and assumed within is eternal and powerful. If you only react to facts, you trap yourself in a cycle of repetition. You look at what is, allow it to dictate how you feel, and then recreate more of the same. But manifestation does not come by responding to the current world. It comes by creating from within. When you dare to ignore what seems real and instead trust the inner feeling of the wish fulfilled, you step into the creative role. You begin to operate from cause rather than effect. The feeling is what matters. Not what the bank account says, not what the relationship looks like, not what others think. The feeling of already having, already being, already living the life you desire, that is the real substance. That is the state that bends reality. It's not about denying reality, it's about refusing to give it power over what you choose to believe. To trust the feeling means you close your eyes and step beyond appearances. You return to your imagination, to your inner sanctuary, where you already are the person you wish to be. You feel it as done. You let that feeling guide your responses, your self-talk and your expectations. And no matter what the facts try to tell you, you remain loyal to that inner experience. The facts may scream one thing, but the feeling whispers another. And that whisper, when trusted, becomes the new truth. The world eventually yields to the inner conviction. It must, because the facts are just temporary shadows, and you, in your feeling, are the light. Stillness is not inactivity, it is alignment. It is the silent space where true creation begins. In stillness, you are no longer reacting, no longer reaching, no longer trying to force or fix. You are simply being, and in that being there is profound power. Stillness allows you to withdraw attention from the noise of the outer world and return to your center, where imagination and feeling merge to form the blueprint of your reality. When you are still, you stop scattering your energy. You stop leaking power into doubt, fear, or impatience. Instead, your focus sharpens, your emotions settle, and your awareness becomes more acute. This clarity creates an opening, a channel for the unseen to begin shaping the scene. Stillness is the place where you choose your state deliberately, where you feel the wish fulfilled without distraction, and where you commune with the version of you who already has everything you desire. It's easy to believe that constant action leads to manifestation, but true transformation rarely comes from the frantic. It comes from the calm, consistent embodiment of a new identity. Stillness is what allows you to anchor into that identity. It is where you impress the subconscious with depth, with feeling, with sincerity. Because the most powerful impressions are made in moments of quiet conviction, not noisy effort. But in stillness, you listen, you feel, you imagine, not with tension, but with certainty. You stop seeking signs and start radiating the energy of done. This state of quiet confidence sends a clear message to life. You are no longer trying to become, you already are. From this place, ideas arise effortlessly. The next steps become obvious, and reality begins to mold itself around your internal stability. Stillness is not emptiness. It is creation in its purest form. It is the space where all things are possible, because you have finally stopped resisting and started allowing. So now you know. There is nothing to chase, nothing to force, nothing to wait for. What you desire is already yours. The moment you imagine it and feel it real, you claim it. And the more you relax into that truth, the faster it unfolds. Let your inner world lead. Let your assumption be your anchor. Persist in the feeling, not in effort. Trust in the unseen, not the current facts. You are not here to beg from life. You are here to create with it. Your imagination is the blueprint. Your feeling is the key. Your assumption is the doorway. Walk through it boldly and let life surprise you with how effortlessly it rises to meet your belief. Thank you for listening. May you live every day from the end, and may your reality become a living reflection of your deepest inner knowing. Stay in the feeling, it's already yours.
Good evening, my friends.
Tonight I am going to teach you one of the most powerful techniques I have ever discovered. A technique so simple that a child could understand it, yet so profound that it can literally collapse time and bring your desires to you almost instantly. Tonight you will learn how to teleport to your future, and then think from that future as though it were your past. You will learn how to remember your desires as already accomplished, to recall your wishes as already fulfilled, to look back on your dreams as events that have already happened. This is not visualization. This is not imagination in the way most people practice it. This is something far more powerful. This is memory creation. And when you learn to create memories of events that have not yet happened in time, you collapse the gap between desire and manifestation. Are you ready to teleport to your future? Then let us begin. Before I teach you this technique, let me show you what most people do wrong when they try to manifest their desires. Most people think about their desires as future events. They imagine themselves getting what they want someday. They visualize achieving their goals at some point in the future. They dream about the life they will have when their desires finally manifest. When I get the money, I will be happy. When I find love, my life will be complete. When I get the job, everything will change. Do you see the problem? Every time you think about your desire as something that will happen in the future, you are pushing it away from you. You are keeping it perpetually ahead of you. Always tomorrow, never today. The future never comes. Tomorrow never arrives. There is only now, this eternal present moment. And as long as your desire lives in the future, it will never enter the now, where all manifestation takes place. Think about it. When you say, I will be wealthy, you are declaring that you are not wealthy now. When you say, I will be loved, you are confirming that you are not loved now. When you say, I will be successful, you are affirming that you are not successful now. And consciousness creates from what you are now, not from what you will be later. If you are in the state of not having, consciousness creates more not having. If you are in the state of waiting, consciousness creates more waiting. This is why people can visualize and affirm for years without results. They are always looking forward to their desires, never claiming them as present reality. Now let me reveal to you a secret that changes everything. There is a way to bring the future into the present instantly, and that way is through the past. This sounds like a riddle, so let me explain. When you remember something, when you recall an event from your past, how does it feel? Does it feel like you are hoping for it? Does it feel like you are trying to create it? Does it feel uncertain? No. When you remember something, it feels certain. It feels real. It feels accomplished. It feels like an absolute fact that cannot be changed. Think about what you did yesterday. Do you doubt that it happened? Do you question whether it is real? Do you feel anxious about whether it will occur? No. You simply know it happened. You have a memory of it. It is a fact of your experience. This is the energy of the past. This is the feeling of something already accomplished, already done, already experienced. And this is the exact energy you need to bring to your desires. When you can remember your desires as though they already happened, when you can recall your wishes as though they were past events, you give them the reality, the certainty, the already done quality that collapses the gap between desire and manifestation. So here is the technique. It is simple, but you must practice it exactly as I teach you. Tonight, before you go to sleep, you are going to teleport to your future. You are going to jump ahead in time to a moment after your desire has been fulfilled. Not the moment of getting it, but a moment after you have had it for a while. If you desire money, do not imagine receiving money. Instead, teleport to a moment 3 months after you became wealthy. If you desire a relationship, do not imagine meeting someone. Instead, jump ahead to a moment 6 months into the relationship. If you desire success, do not visualize achieving it. Instead, teleport to a moment after you have been living in that success for some time. Why after, not during? Because during still has the energy of becoming. After has the energy of being. You want the energy of already accomplished, already settled, already normal. So you close your eyes and you teleport. You jump ahead in time. You are now in your desired future. You are living in the reality where your wish is fulfilled. This is not something that might happen. This is not a hope or a dream. This is where you are right now in this exercise. You have teleported to this moment. Now, from this future moment, you are going to think backwards. You are going to remember how it all happened. You are going to recall the journey that brought you here. You are going to think about your desire as something that happened in your past. This is where the magic happens. You are not imagining the future. You are remembering it. Let me give you a specific example. Suppose you desire to own a beautiful home. Here is how you would practice this technique. Close your eyes. Teleport 6 months into the future. You are now sitting in your beautiful home. You have been living here for months. It is completely normal now. You take it for granted. From this position in the future, you begin to remember. You think back to the day you got the keys. You recall how excited you were. You remember the first night you slept in this home. You think about how you told your friends the good news. You recall the feeling of relief and joy when everything worked out. Do you see what you are doing? You are creating memories. Not future projections, but actual memories, as though these events already occurred in your past. And here is the crucial part. You are not creating these memories from your present moment looking forward. You are creating them from your future moment looking backward. You have teleported to the future, and from that future position you are remembering the past. This is thinking like it happened yesterday. This is remembering your desire as an accomplished fact. Let me explain why this technique works so much better than ordinary visualization or affirmation. When you visualize something in the future, your mind knows it has not happened yet. There is doubt, there is uncertainty, there is the question of, will this really happen? Even if you try to convince yourself, there is always a gap between where you are and where you want to be. But when you remember something, your mind accepts it as fact. Memories feel real. Memories feel certain. Memories feel accomplished. There is no doubt in a memory. By creating memories of your fulfilled desire, by remembering your wish as already accomplished, you give your subconscious mind the signal that it is done. Your subconscious does not know the difference between a memory of something that happened in linear time and a memory you created through imagination. To your subconscious, a memory is a memory, and memories are facts. When you consistently remember your desire as already accomplished, your subconscious accepts this as reality. And when your subconscious accepts something as reality, it begins to reorganize your entire world to match that reality. Opportunities appear. Circumstances shift. People say unexpected things. The bridge of incidents builds itself naturally and effortlessly because your subconscious is working from the assumption that it is already done. Now let me teach you how to enhance this technique with the right feeling. When you remember something that happened yesterday, notice the quality of that feeling. It is not excitement. It is not hope. It is not anticipation. It is a calm, settled, natural feeling of yes, that happened. There is a certainty to it, but not a straining certainty. There is a realness to it, but not an effortful realness. It simply is. It is a fact of your experience, and facts do not require effort to maintain. This is the exact feeling you want when you remember your desire as already accomplished. Not the excitement of something about to happen, not the hope that it might occur, but the calm, settled knowing that it already happened. When you teleport to your future and create memories looking backward, you want to feel the way you feel about yesterday. Normal, natural, certain. Done. A woman came to me who wanted to manifest a specific amount of money for a down payment on a house. She had been visualizing receiving the money for months with no results. She was getting frustrated and discouraged. I taught her this technique. I said, stop imagining receiving the money in the future. Instead, teleport 3 months ahead. You now have the money. You have made the down payment. You are living in your new home. From that position, remember back to the day the money came. Recall how it happened. Think about it like you think about yesterday. She practiced this every night for 2 weeks. And she noticed something interesting. As she remembered the money coming to her, as she recalled it as a past event, she began to feel different about money in her present moment. The desperate hoping fell away. The anxiety dissolved. She felt calm and certain, like someone who knows something good already happened. Within 3 weeks, the exact amount she needed came to her through a source she had never considered. Her aunt, whom she rarely spoke to, called and offered her the money as an early inheritance. The money came easily, naturally, almost as though it had been waiting for her to remember that it was already hers. Now here is something profound about this technique. When you remember the future, you collapse time. Time is not a rigid structure. Time is consciousness unfolding in sequence, and consciousness can rearrange that sequence any way it chooses. When you create a memory of the future, you are telling consciousness that the future has already occurred, and consciousness responds by collapsing the apparent gap between now and then. From your present moment, 3 months might seem like a long time to wait for your desire. But when you teleport to 3 months in the future and remember backward, those 3 months become yesterday. They become the past, they become already done. And when something is already done in consciousness, the physical world rushes to catch up. What seemed like it would take months can happen in days. What seemed impossible can become inevitable. This is not magic. This is understanding how consciousness operates. Consciousness does not move through time linearly. Consciousness can be at any point in time simultaneously. When you consciously place yourself at the point of fulfillment and remember backward, you are collapsing the journey into a single moment of recognition. Let me give you a simple daily practice that will make this technique even more powerful. Every morning when you wake up, before you get out of bed, take 2 minutes to remember your fulfilled desire. Teleport to your desired future. From that future position, recall the journey that brought you there. Remember it like you remember yesterday. Throughout your day, whenever you think about your desire, do not think forward to it. Think backward from it. Catch yourself when you start thinking, I want this, or I hope this happens, and immediately shift to, oh yes, I remember when this happened. That was wonderful. At night before sleep, practice the full technique. Teleport to your future. Live in that moment of fulfillment. Then create detailed memories of how it all came to be. Fall asleep in the feeling of remembering, not in the feeling of wanting. This consistent practice trains your consciousness to live from the end, not to hope for the end, not to work toward the end, but to remember the end as already accomplished. Let me give you some specific examples of how to think like it happened yesterday for different desires. For money, I remember when that money came in, I was so relieved. I remember calling my sister to tell her the good news. I remember how natural it felt to pay off those bills. That was such a good day. For love, I remember the day we met. I remember our first conversation. I remember realizing this was exactly what I had been hoping for. I remember telling my friends about her. It all feels like it was just yesterday. For success, I remember when I got that promotion. I remember the moment my boss called me into her office. I remember the satisfaction I felt. I remember telling my family about it. It's still hard to believe it was 6 months ago already. For health, I remember when I started feeling better. I remember the doctor's surprise at my test results. I remember the energy returning to my body. I remember thinking I knew this would happen. That was such a turning point. Notice the language. Notice the feeling. You are not hoping, not visualizing, not affirming. You are remembering. You are recalling. You are thinking about your desire as an event that already took place. This is how you teleport to the future and think like it happened yesterday. When you practice this technique consistently, something remarkable happens. You stop worrying about how your desire will manifest. You stop trying to figure out the path. You stop forcing and pushing and struggling. Why? Because when you remember something, you do not question how it happened. You simply know it did. The details of how become irrelevant. All that matters is that it happened. This is the ultimate form of detachment. You are not detached from your desire. You are detached from the how because you are living from the position of it already being done. And when you are detached from the how, the universe has infinite ways to bring your desire to you. The bridge of incidents builds itself. The path appears. The means unfold. And often they unfold in ways you never could have planned or predicted. A man wanted to start a business but had no capital, no connections, and no clear path forward. Every time he thought about it, he felt overwhelmed by the obstacles. He did not know how it could happen. I taught him to stop thinking about how and start remembering that. I told him to teleport 1 year into the future where his business was thriving, and from that future position to remember back to how it all began. He practiced this faithfully, and something shifted in him. The anxiety about how fell away. He stopped seeing obstacles. He stopped feeling overwhelmed. He simply knew, with calm certainty, that his business existed. And good evening, my friends. Tonight I am going to teach you one of the most powerful techniques I have ever discovered.
A technique so simple that a child could understand it, yet so profound that it can literally collapse time and bring your desires to you almost instantly. Tonight you will learn how to teleport to your future, and then think from that future as though it were your past. You will learn how to remember your desires as already accomplished, to recall your wishes as already fulfilled, to look back on your dreams as events that have already happened. This is not visualization. This is not imagination in the way most people practice it. This is something far more powerful. This is memory creation. And when you learn to create memories of events that have not yet happened in time, you collapse the gap between desire and manifestation. Are you ready to teleport to your future? Then let us begin. Before I teach you this technique, let me show you what most people do wrong when they try to manifest their desires. Most people think about their desires as future events. They imagine themselves getting what they want someday. They visualize achieving their goals at some point in the future. They dream about the life they will have when their desires finally manifest. When I get the money, I will be happy. When I find love, my life will be complete. When I get the job, everything will change. Do you see the problem? Every time you think about your desire as something that will happen in the future, you are pushing it away from you. You are keeping it perpetually ahead of you. Always tomorrow, never today. The future never comes. Tomorrow never arrives. There is only now, this eternal present moment. And as long as your desire lives in the future, it will never enter the now, where all manifestation takes place. Think about it. When you say, I will be wealthy, you are declaring that you are not wealthy now. When you say, I will be loved, you are confirming that you are not loved now. When you say, I will be successful, you are affirming that you are not successful now. And consciousness creates from what you are now, not from what you will be later. If you are in the state of not having, consciousness creates more not having. If you are in the state of waiting, consciousness creates more waiting. This is why people can visualize and affirm for years without results. They are always looking forward to their desires, never claiming them as present reality. Now let me reveal to you a secret that changes everything. There is a way to bring the future into the present instantly, and that way is through the past. This sounds like a riddle, so let me explain. When you remember something, when you recall an event from your past, how does it feel? Does it feel like you are hoping for it? Does it feel like you are trying to create it? Does it feel uncertain? No. When you remember something, it feels certain. It feels real. It feels accomplished. It feels like an absolute fact that cannot be changed. Think about what you did yesterday. Do you doubt that it happened? Do you question whether it is real? Do you feel anxious about whether it will occur? No. You simply know it happened. You have a memory of it. It is a fact of your experience. This is the energy of the past. This is the feeling of something.
Dear friends, what I'm about to share with you today could fundamentally change the trajectory of your life. So please listen carefully. I'm not here to sell you dreams or empty promises. I'm here to wake you up to a truth that's been sleeping within you your entire life. You are sitting on a gold mine and you don't even know it. Every single day, you wake up with the most sophisticated wealth creation system ever designed, your own mind. Yet most people treat this incredible instrument like a broken radio, letting it play the same static of limitation, the same tired songs of I can't afford it. Money doesn't grow on trees, and rich people are just lucky. Stop. Right now. Please stop. I want you to understand something profound. Your current financial situation is not your financial destiny. It's simply a photograph of your past thoughts, beliefs, and decisions. But here's the beautiful truth. You can burn that photograph today and start creating a masterpiece. The wealthiest people I've studied don't have special DNA. They weren't born with silver spoons or secret advantages. What they have is something far more powerful. They think differently about money. They see abundance where others see scarcity. They see opportunity where others see obstacles. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Neuroscientists have proven this repeatedly. When you imagine biting into a lemon, your mouth literally starts to water. When you imagine your financial success with enough detail and emotion, your brain begins rewiring itself to make that vision your reality. This isn't wishful thinking. This is neuroscience meets ancient wisdom. But here's what most people don't understand. Belief isn't just a casual thought or fleeting wish. It's an unshakable conviction that something is not only possible, but already in the process of becoming your reality. When you truly believe, not hope, not wish, but believe that wealth is your natural state, the entire universe begins to rearrange itself to match that belief. Think about this. Everything you see around you right now, the chair you're sitting in, the device you're watching this on, the building you're in, all of it started as someone's belief. Someone believed it was possible before it existed in the physical world. Your wealth is no different. It exists first in your mind, then in your reality. Right now, you have an invisible thermostat in your mind that's set to your current income level. When opportunities arise to earn more, your internal thermostat kicks in with thoughts like, "This is too good to be true," or "I don't deserve this." It pulls you back to what feels familiar, even if familiar means struggling. But thermostats can be reset. I challenge you to do something radical. For the next 30 seconds, I want you to imagine that you're already living the financial life of your dreams. Don't think about how, just imagine the feeling. Feel the weight lifted off your shoulders when bills arrive. Feel the confidence of knowing you can handle any financial emergency. Feel the joy of helping others because you have abundance to share. Did you feel that shift, that small flutter of excitement? That's your inner wealth recognizing itself. That feeling is more real than the numbers in your bank account right now. Your belief system is like the foundation of a house. If the foundation is weak, the house will crumble. If your belief in your ability to create wealth is shaky, your financial structure will always be unstable. But when you build an unshakable foundation of belief in your worthiness and capability, you can build any level of wealth on top of it. Learn to use the creative workshop of your mind. Your imagination is not just some frivolous fantasy machine, it's the most powerful creative workshop you possess. Every billionaire, every successful entrepreneur, every person who has ever created significant wealth started in the same place, their imagination. But here's the key, they didn't just daydream, they created detailed, vivid mental movies of their success. They saw themselves counting specific amounts of money. They felt the texture of crisp bills in their hands. They heard the sounds of prosperity, the notification of money hitting their bank account, the conversations with financial advisors, the discussions about investment opportunities. I want you to create your own mental movie right now. See yourself opening your bank statement and feeling pure joy at the numbers. Visualize yourself making a purchase without checking the price first. Picture yourself confidently discussing your latest business venture or investment. Make it so real that your body responds as if it's actually happening. The more detailed and emotionally charged your mental imagery becomes, the more your subconscious mind accepts it as real. And when your subconscious accepts something as real, it begins working around the clock to make it your physical reality. But don't just see the money, see the life it creates. Visualize the freedom to choose where you live based on desire, not necessity. See yourself traveling to places you've only dreamed of, not because you saved for years, but because you can. Picture the confidence that comes with financial security, the way it changes how you walk into a room, how you speak, how you make decisions. Learn to live in the future you've just created. Here's where most people make a critical mistake. They think of their wealth as something that will happen someday. This keeps wealth perpetually in the future, always just out of reach. Instead, you must learn to live in the end result, to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled right now. Living in the end doesn't mean pretending or lying to yourself about your current circumstance. It means emotionally and mentally inhabiting the reality of already having what you desire. It's about making decisions from the mindset of someone who already has wealth, not someone who's desperately trying to get it. When you live in the end, you stop operating from lack and need. You stop chasing money and start attracting it. You begin to embody the energy of wealth, and that energy becomes a magnet for financial opportunities. Your current circumstances, your job, your bank account, your bills, these are not your reality. They're temporary conditions based on your past thinking. Your true reality is what you're creating right now with your thoughts, beliefs, and demands. Don't let temporary conditions dictate your permanent identity. I know this might sound abstract, so let me make it practical. If you were already wealthy, how would you carry yourself? How would you speak? What decisions would you make? What opportunities would you pursue? Start being that person now. Don't wait for the money to show up before you become the person who can handle it. You also need to speak the language of abundance. Words are spells, that's why it's called spelling. Every time you say, "I can't afford it," you're casting a spell of limitation. Every time you say money is tight, you're commanding your reality to squeeze your finances. Your subconscious mind is always listening, and it takes your words as commands. It doesn't judge whether your words are beneficial or harmful. It simply works to make them true. This is why the language you use about money is so crucial. Starting today, I want you to change your language. Instead of "I can't afford it," say "How can I afford it?" Instead of "I'm broke," say "I'm between fortunes." Instead of money is the root of all evil, say money is a tool for good in the right hands. Instead of rich people are greedy, say wealthy people have the resources to make a difference. But here's the secret that makes affirmations truly powerful. You must feel the truth of what you're saying. Don't just repeat words mechanically. When you affirm money flows to me easily and effortlessly, take a moment to feel what that would be like. When you declare I am financially abundant, connect with the emotion of abundance. Your words must carry the energy of conviction, not desperation. They should come from a place of knowing, not hoping. The universe responds to the energy behind your words, not just the words themselves. Here's something crucial that most people miss. Thinking about wealth isn't enough. You must feel wealthy. Emotion is the fuel that powers manifestation. Without the emotional charge, your desires remain as dormant as seeds without water. When you visualize your wealth, you must feel the emotions that come with it. Feel the relief of financial security. Feel the excitement of unlimited possibilities. Feel the gratitude for abundance. Feel the confidence that comes with knowing you're financially free. These emotions aren't just byproducts of your visualization. They're the driving force that propels your desires into physical reality. The universe responds to your emotional frequency. When you consistently emit the frequency of wealth and abundance, you attract circumstances that match that frequency. Think about it this way. When you're truly excited about something, doesn't it seem like everything aligns to help it happen? When you're passionate and enthusiastic, don't people want to help you? Don't opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere? This is the power of emotional alignment. But here's the challenge. You must feel wealthy regardless of your current circumstances. You can't wait for your bank account to grow before you feel abundant. You must feel abundant first, and then watch as your external reality catches up to your internal state. This isn't about denial or fake it till you make it. This is about recognizing that your emotional state is a choice and choosing the emotions that serve your highest vision for your life. Have a vision that pulls you forward. Here's what separates dreamers from achievers. Specificity. Dreamers wish for more money. Achievers decide on exact amounts and create detailed visions of their wealthy life. I want you to get specific. Not someday, not eventually, right now. What does your wealthy life look like? Are you traveling first class to destinations you've only dreamed of? Are you living in a home that reflects your success? Are you driving a car that makes you smile every time you see it? But go deeper than material things. How does financial freedom feel? What does it mean to wake up without financial anxiety? What does it feel like to make decisions based on what you want, not what you can afford? See yourself walking into a luxury car dealership, not to browse, but to buy. Feel the leather seats, smell that new car scent, hear the engine purr. Make it so real that your nervous system responds as if it's happening right now. Picture yourself house hunting, but this time you're not looking at what you can afford. You're choosing what you want. See yourself walking through your dream home, feeling the satisfaction of knowing it's yours. Visualize checking your investment portfolio and feeling deep satisfaction at the numbers. See yourself having conversations with financial advisors about your growing wealth, discussing strategies for managing and multiplying your money. This vision isn't fantasy, it's your future calling you forward. The more clearly and consistently you can see it, the more powerfully it will pull you toward itself. Learn the strategic art of detachment. Here's a paradox that confuses many people. You must be intensely focused on your goal while simultaneously detached from how it will manifest. You must care deeply about the end result while not caring about the specific path to get there. Most people make the mistake of trying to micromanage their manifestation. They become attached to specific methods, timelines, and circumstances. But this attachment creates resistance and anxiety, which actually pushes away what they're trying to attract. True manifestation requires what I call strategic detachment. You hold your vision firmly in your mind. You feel the emotions of already having it. You take inspired action when it presents itself. But you don't try to control every detail of how it unfolds. Think of it like planting a seed. You plant it, water it, make sure it gets sunlight, but you don't dig it up every day to check on its progress. You trust the natural process of growth. Your financial goals work the same way. The universe has access to resources, connections, and opportunities that you don't even know exist. When you try to control exactly how your wealth will come to you, you limit yourself to only what you can imagine. But when you detach from the how and focus on the what and the why, you open yourself to possibilities beyond your current comprehension. This doesn't mean you become passive. Inspired action is still essential, but inspired action comes from a place of excitement and opportunity, not desperation and forcing. When you're truly aligned with your vision, the right actions will feel natural and energizing. not forced and exhausting. Use gratitude as a multiplier. Here's a secret that many manifestation teachers miss. Gratitude isn't just about being thankful for what you have. Strategic gratitude is about being thankful for what's coming. When you express genuine gratitude for the wealth that's on its way to you, you align yourself with the frequency of receiving. Start each day by saying thank you for the abundance that's flowing into my life today. Feel grateful for opportunities you haven't even discovered yet. Express appreciation for the financial breakthrough that's preparing itself for you. But don't just be grateful for money. Be grateful for your ability to create wealth. Be grateful for your imagination, your creativity, your unique talents and skills. Be grateful for the opportunities that exist in the world today that didn't exist even a few years ago. Be grateful for every small sign of abundance that shows up in your life. When you find a penny on the ground, when someone buys you coffee, when you receive an unexpected discount, acknowledge these as signs that the universe is conspiring to bring you abundance. This isn't delusion. This is preparation. You're preparing your mind to recognize and receive the wealth that's seeking you. Every morning, when you wake up, you have a choice. You can either spend your mental energy focusing on what you lack, or you can invest it in creating what you desire. This choice compounds over time. Imagine two people with identical circumstances. One spends their mental energy worrying about bills, complaining about their situation, and feeling envious of others' success. The other spends their mental energy visualizing their success, planning their moves, and maintaining unwavering faith in their ability to create wealth. After 1 year, these two people will be living completely different realities, not because of luck, but because of the compound effect of their daily mental choices. Your beliefs about money were programmed into you from childhood. You heard conversations about money, you observed your parents' relationship with money, you absorbed cultural messages about wealth and success. Most of these programs were installed without your conscious consent, and many of them don't serve your highest good. But here's the empowering truth. You can reprogram your beliefs. You can choose new thoughts about money. You can create new neural pathways that support abundance instead of scarcity. Every time you choose a thought of abundance over a thought of lack, you're strengthening your wealth consciousness. Every time you speak words of prosperity instead of poverty, you're rewiring your brain for success. Every time you feel grateful for your financial blessings instead of focusing on what you don't have, you're aligning yourself with the flow of abundance. Now let's talk about the power of inspired action. Here's where many people get confused. They think manifestation means sitting around waiting for money to fall from the sky. That's not how this works. Manifestation is about aligning your inner world with your desires and then taking inspired action from that aligned state. When you're truly aligned with wealth consciousness, you'll find yourself having conversations you wouldn't normally have, noticing opportunities that were always there but invisible to your scarcity mindset, feeling compelled to learn new skills or explore new ventures, making connections with people who can help accelerate your success, taking risks that your old self would have been too afraid to take. This is inspired action, action that comes from alignment, not desperation. It feels energizing rather than exhausting, exciting rather than fearful, natural rather than forced. But here's the key. You must be willing to act when inspiration strikes. The universe is constantly sending you signs, opportunities, and impulses toward your wealth. But if you ignore them or make excuses, they'll stop coming. Pay attention to your intuition. When you get an idea for a business, a sudden urge to call someone, or an impulse to attend an event, follow it. These seemingly random impulses might be the universe's way of guiding you toward your financial breakthrough. As you start to experience more financial success, you'll hit what psychologists call your upper limit. This is when your old programming kicks in and tries to sabotage your progress. You might make a foolish financial decision, pick a fight with someone important, or find another way to pull yourself back to your old comfort zone. Recognize this for what it is, growing pains. Your identity is expanding to accommodate your new level of wealth, and that expansion can feel uncomfortable. Don't let temporary discomfort rob you of permanent success. When you hit your upper limit, remind yourself, I am safe in my success. I deserve this abundance. I can handle this level of wealth responsibly. You might also experience what I call wealth guilt, the feeling that you don't deserve money or that having money makes you somehow bad or greedy. This is just old programming trying to keep you small. Remember that money is neutral. It's what you do with it that matters. The world needs more good people with money. When you become wealthy, you can fund causes you care about, help people in need, create jobs, and make a positive impact on the world. Your wealth isn't selfish, it's service. When you become wealthy, you don't just change your own life. You become a force for good in the world. You create jobs, support businesses, contribute to charities, and inspire others to believe in their own potential. Your wealth isn't selfish, it's necessary. The world needs people who understand money as a force for good, who will use their resources to solve problems and elevate humanity. Think about the impact your wealth will have. Maybe you'll start a scholarship fund for underprivileged students. Maybe you'll invest in clean energy companies. Maybe you'll help family members achieve their dreams. Maybe you'll fund research for diseases that need curing. Your financial success gives you the power to make a difference. Every dollar you earn is a vote for the kind of world you want to create. When you earn money ethically and use it wisely, you're contributing to the greater good. This perspective shift, from seeing wealth as selfish to seeing it as service, can be incredibly powerful in overcoming any guilt or resistance you might have about becoming wealthy. The time is now. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting until you know more, have more connections, or feel more ready. The universe responds to action, not intention. Your wealthy life is waiting for you to claim it, but it won't wait forever. Every day you delay taking aligned action toward your financial goals is another day your dreams remain dreams. Instead of becoming your reality, the perfect time to start is now. Not when you have more time, not when you have more money, not when you feel more confident. Start with whatever you have, wherever you are. If you can only spare 10 minutes a day for wealth visualization, start there. If you can only invest $10, start there. If you can only take one small action toward your financial goals, start there. The universe rewards action, not perfection. Every step you take toward your wealth, no matter how small, is a signal to the universe that you're serious about your financial transformation. Let me give you a practical daily routine that will reprogram your mind for wealth. Number 1, morning wealth ritual. Spend 5 minutes visualizing your wealthy life in vivid detail. Speak your wealth affirmations with conviction and emotion. Write down 3 actions you can take today to move toward your financial goals. Express gratitude for the abundance that's flowing into your life. Number 2, throughout the day, notice every sign of abundance around you. Speak only words that affirm your wealth and success. Take at least one action that aligns with your wealthy identity. Make decisions from the mindset of someone who already has wealth. Number 3, evening wealth review. Celebrate any progress you made toward your financial goals, no matter how small. Visualize your wealth growing while you sleep. Express gratitude for the opportunities that came your way. Set intentions for tomorrow's wealth-building activities. This isn't just busy work. This is actively reprogramming your subconscious mind for financial success. The more consistently you do this, the faster your external reality will shift to match your internal transformation. Here's the final truth I want to leave you with. You already have everything you need to become wealthy. You have a mind that can imagine. You have emotions that can fuel your dreams. You have the ability to speak your desires into existence. You have the power to take action toward your goals. The only thing standing between you and the wealth you desire is your willingness to claim it. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel more worthy. Now, your abundance is waiting. Go claim it. The answer to whether you're ready will determine everything that happens next in your financial life. Choose wisely, choose boldly, choose wealth. Remember, your current situation is not your final destination. You have everything within you right now to create the wealthy life you desire. Trust the process, take aligned action, and watch as your reality transforms to match your vision. The time for excuses is over. The time for wealth is now.